cannot give you back your homes or restore your dead to life.
But perhaps I can give you justice in the name of our king.
Hey everyone, today I wanted to dig through some of the more popular questions regarding the first episode of Season 8. So with that said, if you aren't caught up with Game of Thrones, this is your spoiler warning. Anyway, let's get started. Hi, what is your take about the dragons staring intently at Jon and Daenerys kissing? There are a few different conclusions you could make. The main one that most fans have settled with is the fact that since Dany's dragons are magic and historically bonded with Valyrians, the dragons know that Jon is a Targaryen. We've known ever since Jon's first up-close encounter with Drogon that he was special. The dragons respect Jon, unlike all other characters that have been around them. Besides for Daenerys, of course. And if you want to say, well, what about how they accepted Tyrion when he released them from their chains, I would argue that was a different situation entirely. Viserion and Rhaegal were locked up in an enclosed area and without their usual buffet of food. Anyway, I've heard some fans say the dragons know Jon is the true king, and for the longest time they believed their mother Dany was the sole surviving dragon lord. Now, dragon lords are talked about in the novels. Valyrians back in the day were able to conquer so much territory because a number of their people were magically bonded to dragons to the extent they were able to control and fly them. Jon proved in the season premiere, when it comes to dragons, he shares much of the same abilities Daenerys does, and that could be quite surprising to Drogon and Rhaegal. The fact that Jon flew Rhaegal and controlled his maneuvers in the air shows that he really is what they believed him to be. Also, one thing to note is if our presumptions about what Rhaegal and Drogon know are true, then it wouldn't be shocking for them to look a little sideways when aunt and nephew are making out. It's almost like the dragons know more about Jon and Dany than even they know about themselves, at least at that point in the timeline. However, Targaryens have a rich history of incest, so it's not as off-putting as it would be seeing Cersei and Jaime together. In fact, Dany's father and mother were brother and sister, so like I said, the dragons may not be too concerned with her relationship to Jon. The next question is also about this scene, so let's move on to that one. Can Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal all be reincarnations of the people named after them? I mean, that could explain why Drogon was kind of mad when Jon kissed Dany, and it can also explain why Jon rides Rhaegal, and it can explain why Viserion is the one that becomes the Ice Dragon. So, I wouldn't necessarily subscribe to the idea that all the dragons are reincarnations of their namesake. Yes, Game of Thrones has a knack for poetic symbolism. Dany's most trusted steed is Drogon, named after her late husband Khal Drogo, and the other two dragons named for her brothers. Viserys turned out to be much like his father, corrupt, power-hungry, and with the morals of a warlock. Rhaegar was loved by all. If you look at the descriptions of Prince Rhaegar in the books, as well as what was said by different characters throughout the show, you know Rhaegar's personality was damn near identical to how the audience views Jon. Whether Jon Snow is your favorite character or not, it's hard to argue against him being best suited for a position of power. We know Jon leads from the front, he isn't a coward, and everything he's done thus far has come from his heart. The dragons being named what they are and their current status and characteristics do resemble that of their human counterparts, but I wouldn't interpret it as being a legit reincarnation. So for a first episode, I think it was pretty good. There are only two things that I don't see many people talk about that I would like to mention. The Umber Kid scene was really creepy, and is Bronn really going to kill Jaime and Tyrion? I agree, the Umber Boy posed on the wall is a little disturbing, because it once again displays the mind of the Night King. Though the Dead Army is basically just ice zombies, these symbols found throughout the series show there is more to the White Walkers than just bloodlust. They have a mission, and whether it is to finally accomplish defeating the First Men they were created to take out thousands of years ago, or something different, we have to recognize they aren't some mindless creatures. There is a specific plan they have. Anyway, is Bronn really going to kill Jaime and Tyrion? I believe not. Bronn goes way back with both Tyrion and Jaime, and for the most part they have held up their end of the bargain when it comes to paying their debts to him. But the one person who Bronn doesn't trust worth dirt is Cersei. He knows very well if he carries out the murders of the Lannister brothers, Cersei has no obligation to give Bronn anything. He is just a pawn at her disposal, and from all the wine consumed with Tyrion, he must know Cersei is full of it. Anyway, that's going to do it for this Q&A. If you liked anything at all, please subscribe and hit that notification bell for more daily uploads during the final season of Game of Thrones. As always, have a great day, take care, and I will see you tomorrow.